Russia's air defenses were built to be unbreakable, layered, modern, and ruthless. Yet in 2025, Ukraine's Alpha unit pulled off a hat trick that shocked military analysts worldwide. 3 high-impact strikes, each confirmed by open-source data and Euromaidan Press, shattered that shield. With the battlefield now transformed, how did Ukraine shoot and score against the world's most formidable air defense system, and what does this mean for the war's next phase? Russia's integrated air defense system was designed to be a fortress, layer upon layer of sensors, missiles, and guns stretching from the Black Sea to the Donbas. On paper, the network looked impenetrable. S-300 and S-400 batteries formed the backbone, reaching hundreds of kilometers into the sky, while Panzer S-1 units guarded the gaps, ready to intercept anything that slipped through. Radar stations, electronic warfare complexes, and mobile launchers created a web of overlapping coverage, each piece linked by a centralized command structure meant to react within seconds. Maps published by open-source analysts showed dense arcs of coverage, with few corridors left unguarded. Yet cracks had already begun to show. In August 2022, a series of explosions ripped through Saki Air Base in Crimea. Satellite images the next day revealed scorched earth, shattered hangars, and the charred remains of Russian fighter jets, evidence that something had bypassed every layer of Russian defense. Just 2 months later, the Kerch Bridge, a symbol of Russia's hold on Crimea, suffered a devastating strike. Despite the presence of nearby S-400s and Panzer batteries, the attack collapsed a section of roadway and set fuel cars ablaze. Both incidents, confirmed by public imagery and forensic open-source intelligence analysis, exposed blind spots in the supposedly seamless shield. These failures weren't just isolated embarrassments. They proved that Russia's air defense, for all its power, carried hidden vulnerabilities, sensor gaps, slow reactions to unconventional threats, and a reliance on centralized control that could be disrupted. For Ukraine, these early breaches offered a blueprint. The challenge was clear. If such a fortress could be cracked, then a specialized unit, armed with precision and intelligence, might find a way to punch through again. The stage was set for Alpha Unit's campaign, a high-stakes contest where every strike would be measured, verified, and mapped for the world to see. Alpha Unit stands as the sharp edge of Ukraine's security service, a force forged in the chaos of 2014 when Crimea fell and war erupted in Donbas. Born from the need for a dedicated special operations cell, Alpha's early missions targeted communications hubs and low-altitude air defense, striking deep behind enemy lines. Within 2 years, the unit had transformed. By 2016, Alpha integrated UAV operators and electronic warfare teams, pairing them with long-range precision strike specialists. This modular structure allowed Alpha to adapt in real time, blending drone reconnaissance, signal jamming, and targeted missile attacks into a single, relentless playbook. Open-source reporting, especially from Euromaidan Press, traces Alpha's steady rise. In 2018, the unit carried out its first documented destruction of a Russian Strela 10 system. 2 years later, Alpha launched the so-called Night Wolf campaign, disrupting S-300 batteries with coordinated strikes. By 2022, as Russia's full-scale invasion pushed deeper into Ukrainian territory, Alpha's doctrine shifted. No longer content with opportunistic sabotage, the unit set out to dismantle the layered Russian air defense network itself, one node at a time. The results, corroborated across multiple SBU channels and verified by independent analysts, speak for themselves. By 2025, Alpha's integration of drones, electronic warfare, and precision-guided munitions had become central to Ukraine's strategy. Each operation was measured, mapped, and tracked by open-source intelligence, building a public record of impact. This relentless campaign set the conditions for Alpha's next act: a string of strikes that would punch through Russia's defenses and redraw the battle lines in the sky. The first strike landed with precision near 48.12 degrees north, 38.55 degrees east, a stretch of occupied Donetsk that until then sat behind the thickest layers of Russian air defense. According to statements released by the Security Service of Ukraine, Alpha unit targeted a mobile Pantsir S-1 battery, a system valued at up to $20 million and designed to shield Russian positions from low-flying threats. The weapon used in this opening move was likely a long-range precision missile, possibly the Ukrainian-produced AT-15, though the exact model remains unconfirmed by outside analysts. What is clear from the available data is that the battery was destroyed in a single strike. The claim first surfaced on SBU channels and was amplified by Euromaidan Press, which published the coordinates and supporting commentary. Open-source researchers have yet to independently verify the aftermath through satellite imagery or geolocated footage, so for now the evidence remains unconfirmed. Still, the pattern was set. Alpha unit had found a way to reach through dense Russian coverage and knock out a core defensive asset, showing that no part of the shield was truly safe. The second strike unfolded deeper into occupied Luhansk, at coordinates near 48.3 north, 39.2 east, a static Pantsir S-1 emplacement, this time not on wheels but dug in to anchor a broader defensive sector. Alpha unit, working under the Security Service of Ukraine, selected this target for its role as a linchpin in the local air defense grid. The weapon used remains a matter of debate among analysts. The Security Service of Ukraine's statement hints at a loitering munition, possibly the Harbinger D, designed to circle above the battlefield before diving onto its mark. Open-source researchers, including those at Euromaidan Press, cataloged the claim and published provisional coordinates, but as with the first strike, full independent verification is still pending. No satellite imagery or geolocated footage has surfaced to confirm the aftermath, leaving the event in the unconfirmed column for now. What the available data does show is a shift in Alpha's playbook, from hitting mobile batteries to dismantling static fortified nodes. This evolution in target profile suggests a growing confidence and a willingness to challenge the most entrenched points of Russian air defense. Each strike, measured and mapped, ratchets up the pressure on Russia's network, testing its ability to adapt as Alpha unit continues its campaign. Strike 3 landed near 46.72 north, 32.60 east, deep in the Kherson region, at the heart of Russia's integrated air defense grid. Here, Alpha unit set its sights on a node that did more than just guard a sector. This position linked Pantsir S-1 and S-300 systems and acted as a nerve center for local command and control. According to Security Service of Ukraine statements, the attack used a cruise-type missile, possibly the Kh-59 MK, though independent analysts have yet to confirm the weapon or the full extent of the damage. What is clear is the strategic intent. By hitting this integrated site, Alpha did not just remove another missile battery from the map, it severed the connective tissue holding together Russia's air defense layers in southern Ukraine. Open-source channels, including Euromaidan Press, published the provisional coordinates and described the strike as the campaign's final blow. The aftermath remains unverified, with no satellite imagery or ground-level footage yet linked to the event. Still, the claim stands. With this operation, Alpha unit aimed to collapse the last line of Russian air defense protecting the occupied Kherson corridor. If the strike's effects hold true, the result is more than tactical. It is a decisive opening, a clear lane through which Ukrainian forces can now operate, changing the calculus for both sides in the air war. Every claim about Alpha unit's campaign is put through a rigorous open-source verification process before it enters the official record. Analysts start with a three-tier rubric. Facts are labeled as confirmed, corroborated, or unconfirmed. To reach the highest level, a claim must be backed by an official statement and independently verified by at least 2 separate OSINT channels, such as satellite imagery, geolocated footage, or investigative reports. Most details about the 3 strikes remain unconfirmed for now, waiting for that extra layer of proof. The workflow itself is methodical: source acquisition, timestamp cross-checks, geolocation using high-resolution satellite tiles, change detection analysis, multi-sensor corroboration, and finally, label assignment. Each step is designed to weed out error and disinformation. As of 2025, Maxar satellite imagery, the gold standard for damage assessment, is restricted, forcing analysts to rely on lower-resolution alternatives like Planet or Sentinel. This constraint raises the bar for verification and slows the process, but it does not stop it. The result is a transparent, repeatable framework that keeps the scoreboard honest, even when the fog of war thickens. Strike maps compiled by independent analysts documented a sharp 38% surge in Ukrainian attacks within 2 days of each Pantsir loss. The pattern was impossible to ignore. Every time Alpha Unit removed a Russian air defense node, a wave of follow-on strikes swept through the newly opened corridor. Russian Ministry of Defense memos, later leaked on Telegram, directed the urgent redeployment of surviving Pantsir batteries to cover exposed sectors. These internal orders, couched in bureaucratic language, hinted at mounting logistical strain and a scramble to patch widening gaps. On the ground, the effect rippled beyond military lines. Civilians living near the strike zones described nights broken by explosions and the sight of families loading what they could into battered cars, heading for safer towns. While Ukraine's campaign aimed for precision, the reality of war meant power lines were severed and fields burned in the aftermath. The Alpha Unit's success brought a measurable tactical payoff, but it also forced a reckoning with the human cost, reminding all sides that even the cleanest operation leaves scars where people live. Ukraine's Alpha Unit turns open-source claims into battlefield facts, each strike traced, each loss confirmed by independent analysts and Euromaidan press. Now, Russia's once untouchable shield shows real fractures. The next move in this war is not theoretical. It is unfolding live in the corridors newly carved through the sky.